Hey everyone, the first set of labels was super popular, so I decided to do another tutorial. These are the last labels that I did. They're a lot more for foodie brands, special occasion, special edition type of stuff, but I realized that there's a larger amount of people that have labels that are more simple and for different niches. So what I decided to do is I'm going to the labels again. This is all on Canva, by the way. And I like to look at the templates. The templates will tell you what you need to know in terms of getting like, all the basically like a layout. You should have something in mind for what you want, kind of like some sort of a vision. Or if you're really good off of going intuitively, it's better to pick from having a vision, from seeing something that you like and wanting to do something similar, but putting your own brand and your own branding and spin on it. But sometimes you can go intuitively. You can see something that just speaks to you for whatever reason. And if you're open enough, even if it looks nothing like what you want it to look like the last ones, you can still get an idea and envision in your head like what it is that you want to do specifically. So I'm just looking at these. I'm going to look for a few different types of designs. I do want to look for one that's more rustic, and it's kind of like something that you would see that is more so like on the vibe and reminiscent of like a farm type of brand, a very natural, almost woodsy, but more so like farm. It's along the line of supernatural, super simplistic, that type of thing, like the orange tan right here. I kind of like the way that that looks, how they have the element, and they're what I call elemental. So I'm just going to resize it. I'm going to be picking a few and resizing them. And then I hit the button resize. These are for the sizes that I know my labels are, which always make sure you specifically measure the labels. Don't go with the manufacturer recommendations of what the labels are from the jar manufacturers. Measure them yourself using one of those tape measures that you use to measure like a waist size and, for clothing. And then I'm also going to go with this one because it's a more straightforward and simple type of look. And you guys are going to see I'm going to take away the elements. So elemental ones I call them that because they take an element of whatever the product is specifically, right? So if you're going to do something orangey, you would leave those oranges. If you're going to do something with banana, you would find picture bananas. If you're going to do chamomile, so on and so forth. So basically, you pick something about that brand. So it kind of gives people a feel of like, oh, okay, this one's lavender. Oh, okay, this one is vanilla, whatever it is that you're doing specifically. So I'm going to start with this one. This one is more of just a bold, almost kind of modern, just very simple type of branding. This is the type of branding that I did for my last company that I had called Black Flower Co. And basically, it's super simple, pretty much just black and white. And I'm going to be just editing I'm going to kind of, and this is all off top, what you guys see me creating. I don't have any prior other than like what I just described. This is kind of going to be reminiscent of my old brand and just other types of branding that I've seen other people do. Um, I don't have anything specific in mind. So what I'm doing here is, I know that you guys know I say it all the time, I print through Chrissy. And from what she tells me, make sure that all the lettering for the font sizes are all 4.5 minimum so that they can read clear when you print them. Because otherwise they can get blurry or you won't be able to see them well. So I always make sure that what I like to do is I structure them. So I get all of my placements. I do one first, get all of the placements correctly. And then that way I won't have to come and like move things around. Say if I just do this and I do like 7 different labels, right? But then I decide something looks better in the way that it's formatted, like what side they're coming from, whether their placements in the middle, or I feel like the barcode looks better over somewhere else. I like to get all this formatting out of the way first so that I can, instead of having to go back and change all of them, I can get the first one done correctly and then basically do all of them like that. So this is a simple wraparound label, and you guys can use these same concepts and use them for like top labels, because sometimes you have to do both. Sometimes it depends on what the size of the jar is. Like when I had my exfoliate brand, I did have enough room. If I wanted to make a wraparound label, I could have done that and put all the information on there. But I really liked the idea of having just that bold label on the front. Just you get all the cute little pictures and the fonts, and then on the top is where I put all the information, and it left plenty of room for me to do that. But it depends on what's also more cost effective for you, because sometimes that can obviously be more costly. Now you're having to buy two labels per one jar instead of just one. So you have to do whatever works best for you. I had the idea of calling a business Cream. So this is just what I'm doing here. And I'm going to use more bold fonts. But for now, I'm just kind of getting the names and things of what I want better. So doing ingredients. And then here, for all of these, you guys are going to see that I'm basically doing like the same type of ingredients. It's going to be like for one of my main body butter types of things. Sometimes I do creams. I'm not sure. I think for this one I did a cream, and this is, like I said, just kind of off top. As I say before, I do basic names on my labels. I know it may not be up to regulation the way that some people's are. So you kind of just take what I do. And then if you want to just take the outline and then do it 100% up to regulations and standard, you go ahead. Like you could do this, and you could do all the inky names for all of these here. But I'm just doing basic just so you guys can understand and kind of know what it looks like just aesthetically. Like, okay, the words and letters here are going to look like this, blah, blah. So as you guys can see, this is pretty simple and straightforward. I'm just deciding to put, just move the placements around, just play with different names, play with different fonts, and see exactly what it is that I want here. So on this one, I'm going to do something a little bit edgy, is what I would call it. Is I'm just going to put it on the side, stretch it. And so some companies do it to where the product name, I usually like the product name to be big, because that's where I get my creative freedom. In a way, I get to like choose fun or like really cool or naturalistic name, something that makes it sound extra appealing right there that you can see. But for this one, sometimes what I see other brands do is like they'll have the name big, and then they'll have the name of the company will be big, right? And then the name of the product will be smaller, so that it's saying what it is. And you guys are going to see me transition here. Basically, what I do is I start with this idea. Like I always start with an idea, and then I just begin tweaking. And that's really how my process is I'll go through, I'll feel it out. And if I don't really like the way this looks or feels, I'll kind of change what I want to see about it. I'm just more so doing placements now than I am doing fonts. So you guys will see in a little bit here that once I get the placements and everything where I want it to be, I'm going to start to change the fonts and get everything looking the way that I want to. So I promise nothing significant is going to happen here, but this video will take forever if I let it play out the whole time. All I'm going to be doing is just moving and resizing stuff. So I am going to speed it up a little bit so you guys can see the gist of what I'm doing. Basically, all the same rules apply. Like I said, nothing specific or major is happening, but just so you guys can see what it turns out being. And so here it is, the finished result of that. That is the basic template. And I call it a template, guys, because what I'm going to do here, now that I have everything exactly where I want it to be, I duplicate it. And now when you duplicate it, so everything looks nice and cohesive, you don't have to worry about placement, sizing being different. I'm just going to change the name of what the product is. And then if you have to change the ingredients too, of course, do that. If you have to size it differently too, like if you want to make it for a dropper bottle instead of one, then all you would do is hit the resize button. And then what I do is just delete the past ones. I pick one of them to just stand, and then I just move the placements around to make it look like it matches everything. And so this is basically what I have. It's a nice, bold, clean kind of look. And so everything looks the same. And then if you want to just add more, then you just duplicate them, change the name, change whatever specific details. Now, we're going to go ahead and move on to the more rustic look that I chose earlier with the type of the oranges. So I saved it back here. I resized it already. I always double check because sometimes I don't even realize that I didn't resize. And so I'm going to get my charger real quick because I'm about to die. And so there we go, plugged in. All right, now I'm just going to get in here and start changing things around. So an orange gem is cool. I could have done a product based on that, but I think what I've been sticking with here is between like vanilla and I'm going to do, for this one, I want to do brown sugar fig because that's something that I would expect from this type of vibe with this brand. So I'm going to go through here and basically do the same thing. Just kind of put things in different places, see what they look like. And one thing I will mention here in a minute is, so I'm going to move stuff around. Yep, make sure that my size is good before I moved forward. I'm just going to start moving the placements around, and then we'll talk about picking the art. I'm going to speed us through this part, just moving stuff around. Okay, so now I have general placements for where I want everything. I chose the name Vanilla Skin because I feel like that could be also very naturalistic. It's simple. So now I'm just looking here. I typed in brown sugar fig. I'm not gonna really find what I want though, because it's too much brown sugar. So I'm just gonna narrow it down to the figs because that's really what the element that I want anyway. And so I see a few pictures here that can match. So I'm looking for, you see how there's different types of animation. And the way that I explained it to somebody before is kind of like when you see people making like cartoons. This one really would have fit well. I ended up not going with it. I chose something else, but this actually, I think I probably would have ended up liking better. But anyway, so whenever you choose certain types of animation, you can see that some of them are more like kawaii with the happy faces. Some are more just like solid colors, and others, oh, that one would have been nice too. And some of them are more like, this is more rustic looking. This is the one I ended up going with. I might go back and change this and just make it a little bit different. But and that's generally what I do. Sometimes when I'm making labels, I always recommend like just sit on it overnight before finalizing them, unless you're totally in love, but just sit on it and then come back to it and see what you can change. But so you want to make sure that the animations that you choose are similar if you're going to do animations, because sometimes, you know, you don't want to have like kawaii type of figures, right, where you have like the smiley faces and everything looking cutesy, and then something like this that's like more realistic type of art, or more serious, more kind of sketchy. And you also want to make sure that you adjust the colors to look like they're around about the same tones. So you just want to do that. But here, so now that I have my art chosen, I'm gonna go ahead and just move us through it. And sometimes I just like to go and just take a double look just to see if there's anything more that I'd like, if I'm not 100% in love with something. So I'm just going to go ahead and fast forward through this, and then we're going to get to duplicating and doing the next one. So here I've kind of changed things around a little bit. Like I said, this is not too bad. I do feel like I can make some better amendments, so I'm most likely going to go ahead and go do that. And all it's going to be is just me choosing different pictures. So you guys are still seeing everything that I'm doing, right? But this is just me over my voice recording a day later, realizing that there are probably some better edits that I could have made. So I'm calling this one Vanilla Cream. Sometimes when you work with Canva, the second ones will just disappear on you. And then again, just doing the vanilla, just seeing what really matches. So in this one, I did have a little bit of trouble finding an aesthetic that matches, having that same type of sketchy rusticness. See, I didn't like that when I had a shadow. It just was too bulky and 3D like. So you'll see me just selecting different art and seeing what works here. Okay, so now that we got through the speeding part, I wanted to talk about downloading. So PDF print with CMYK is what you want to do for printing with clarity. Okay. PNG are just the pictures that I like to save and share with everybody else and to like kind of visualize and review my edits. But in order to get that crystal clear type of printing where everything's nice and clear and not fuzzy, you always want to do those files. Those are the files, the type of files that I send to Chrissy. I download them individually and then send them to her with the sizes for the height and width. And I'm going to just download the picture for this one. And then we're going to go ahead and get into the next type of labels. You guys pretty much see the whole process. So I'm going to see if I can just, let's see. And it was in a separate video. I decided to do this last minute. So I went here, I started my process again. And this time I'm really going for a look that is a little bit more luxurious. And you guys will see me transition in the video. So I start with like, I think a different type of name. I forgot what name I started with, but I ended up picking Black Rabbit because I wanted to do like something that was like luxe but simple and felt like more organic and natural. So I ended up picking Black Rabbit. I picked some, and that was a little bit of logo making that you guys are gonna see in this because see, I like this look. It's luxurious, it's very minimal, but obviously for a skincare product, you want to put more details on here. So once I resize it, I'm gonna go and get into, getting all the stuff out that I don't want in there. Of course, you could always leave the lines in there if you wanted them. I'm not particular to them. So now I'm just going to move everything around and begin my process of feeling it out and seeing what I want it to look like. But you guys are going to see this is a simplistic look. I think Black Rabbit would be a cool type of line. I like to kind of invent little brands in my head and see what they would look like. But yeah, so just watch me transition this one. I'm going to fast forward you guys through it and then, you'll basically see the conclusion. As I'm fast forwarding, you guys are going to see something I do here. So at first it's Kind Cosmetics. I kind of have a concept for what I want. I'm grabbing a whole bunch of, what I do is I grab a whole bunch of pictures and put them up on the screen. And then I kind of test them out individually and see what I like and what I don't like. I decided to go with just some rabbit ears and I realized that font didn't fit. So I have my custom fonts that I downloaded and then I kind of decided on that one. So I was just going to move around the placements, kind of fix it, make it look right. So now that I have it the way I wanted it, you guys saw me group it and put it together. Now here I was just spending time figuring out where I was going to put everything, kind of like how I liked for it to look. And this isn't bad, but I just ended up going with something else. So you see me just doing all different types of placements. I encourage you guys to do this just to see what you really like. And I ended up, like I've seen the companies do it before, and I used to do it with mine, is put the ingredients right there for you to see front and center. You guys can put the full ingredients list. I kind of like the plus in the names, so that's what I did. I just had one template, Just did the same thing all across for each one. And the barcode, you can put those. It's not necessary. Like I think those are more for store purposes. Mine isn't like an actual one. So let me know if you guys have any questions, and I hope this was helpful.